Hello, beautiful human. Welcome back to another yoga practice. We are currently sitting on Hahe Beach in the Coromandel of New Zealand, and everything's just worked out perfectly this morning, which I'm so stoked about. The waves aren't too big, it's not that windy, the sun's just about to pop over the mountains, so I'm excited to be able to share this slice of New Zealand nature with you. Today's class we're going to be working up into our hips. It's going to be pretty slow and stretchy. The pose that we're going to be focusing on is our Gomukhasana pose. Go meaning cow, mukha meaning face in Sanskrit, and asana meaning seat or posture. This is part of our August animals series. So if you're curious about any of the other animals that we work up into, just check out some of the other videos that we've posted or are posting. So a little bit of background behind this pose. It requires quite a bit of openness through the hips, and as well as it includes an arm bind. I'll provide this as an option today depending on how we're feeling. So it's quite open through the spine, and cows within the Hindu religion are considered quite sacred and kind of auspicious because they are seen as a little bit more connected to Mother Nature. Their manure fertilizes the soil, and the milk helps feed the people, and so they're considered a very kind of lucky, sacred animal. We're going to head down onto our backs to begin our practice. So come join me down. Lie yourself down on the ground. And we'll just take a moment to just settle into our bodies right now. Maybe you start to close down the eyes, and maybe before we do so, you just open them, kind of observe the environment with a little bit more clarity, a little bit more intention, noticing different things that you may not have picked up before. And then when you're ready, let's close down the eyes. And it's that same witnessing action that we can take when we're observing an environment with a little bit more focus. The same thing we want to try and do right now, but internally. So giving a closer look to how our body's feeling today. Checking in with the mind and the heart. By the way, we'll have a couple of friends making some sounds. Gotta love some seagulls. It's New Zealand for you. And it's really easy throughout our day for kind of ourselves to skip over that. Like it might be popping up every so often, but we don't give it the attention that we need. And I'd also like to propose a question of what does being sacred, what does sacredness mean to you? Is there anything sacred within your life at the moment, or that you consider sacred? And generally, looking up definitions of it, sacredness is associated with potentially religion or kind of a higher power or a God, but it doesn't always have to be the case. I think it's something that we highly respect and that we try and devote ourselves to because of its worthiness or what we consider worthy. And the yoga practice encourages us to see our body as sacred, our mind is sacred, our heart, our spirit is sacred. something that is worthy to care for, something to devote our practice to. And again, not a lot of us do that. We often prioritize other things, and then our body, ourselves, we come last. But we know that we get out what we put in. So the more time that we put into ourselves and taking care of ourselves, the more that we can turn up into the rest of our day with more energy, with more energetic boundaries to kind of protect ourselves from dispersing too much energy outside. So with that in mind, let's just take about 3 more deep breaths. Might even have your hands on the heart, hands on the belly as a way to indicate where your breath wants to travel to. And let's begin to move. So you might keep your left knee bent, you might extend it out long on the ground. Let's pick up the right knee. We're finding a reclined pigeon pose. Our Supta Kapottanasana. Take your left hand around your right ankle, and then maybe the right hand comes on top of the shin, right elbow comes in front of the right leg. Can you pull the right foot in while pressing the right knee out with the elbow? You might take a little rock from side to side here. If this is quite intense with the hips, see if you can bend the left knee. You can also have the right heel supported on the thigh. And noticing sensations as we move. A little bit more dynamically to begin with. In our hips, we tend to hold a lot of tension here. You know, if we're inactive, our muscles can tighten, they're not being used. So we just want to bring some dynamic movement to these parts. Either keeping the left hand around maybe the outside of the right foot, or you can bring the left hand around the right thigh. Let's start to twist over towards the left. Right hand might extend out to the side. You can either keep the right knee bent, or you could try extend the leg out long if you're feeling open enough. Try to keep the right shoulder on the ground. Take a big breath in here. Exhale, can you twist a little bit deeper? Let's come back through center and we'll swap it out. So maybe the right foot is down, maybe it's extended on the ground. Let's take the hands around the ankle, left elbow comes in front of the leg. Little shift from side to side. And we're trying to connect our breath with our movement. That's one of the what is it? What am I trying to say? Kind of the main things about our yoga practice is that the breath is the anchor to our present moment. And the more that we can connect our breath with our movement, the more intentional we can be. Let's find our twist. So maybe the right hand comes around the outside of the left foot or outside the left thigh. Breathe in. Start to tip the foot or the leg towards the right. Exhale, keep the left shoulder on the ground. Maybe the left hand reaches out towards the side. One more big breath in. Exhale, find a little twist. Come back through center. We're going to grab the backs of the legs. Roll ourselves up, cross over our feet. Going to find our way into a Balasana, child's pose. So you might bring the knees in more narrow, or you might take them towards the edges of the mat. You might even take them off the mat. Reach the arms out forward, maybe even a little bit more forward than you have them. Forehead might come down towards the earth. Can you take a big breath in, opening and filling up through the back of the ribs? As you exhale, can you take the sides of the arms and try to pull them down towards the ground? Feeling the weight drop back towards the hips and the heels. Big breath in. Exhale. Breathe in, start to roll yourself forward on your mat, finding a way through a tabletop position, and then we soften the hips towards the ground while squeezing the glutes. Then the elbows come down, lie yourself down on the ground. The sun's just about to pop out. I'm so excited. Left hand, let's extend it towards the side so it's coming in line with the shoulder. Right hand comes by the ribs, turn the right toes high, breathe in. Exhale, can you press through the right hand to travel the right foot behind the body? So the right knee is lifted up here and you're trying to draw the right knee back to open through the fronts of the hips here and the spine. Now you can stay here with the right hand down. If you wanted to try half of an arm bind, right hand comes behind, trying to aim the back of the palm in between the shoulder blades. And we're going to see this a little bit later on with our Gomukhasana arms. This is kind of the half of the bind here. One final option that I'll offer if you want a little bit of a stability challenge is to try to draw the right knee, right thigh up towards the elbow. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, maybe you can roll yourself back a little bit more, opening through the left chest. One more breath. Come back through center. Ooh, let's release the arm. Let's try that on the other side. Right hand extends out long, left hand by the ribs. Turn the left toes high, breathe in. As you exhale, press through the left hand, foot behind the right thigh. Try to lift the left knee as high as it can and then behind you. Keep some pressure through the left hand. Maybe you stay here, maybe the back of the left palm comes behind the back, connecting with the middle of the shoulder blades. And maybe you stay here. If you want a bit more of a balance challenge, try to draw the left knee wide and then towards the elbow. It's okay if it doesn't touch. At any point, if this becomes a little bit too intense for the right shoulder, you can extend the arms over the head by the bicep. Take one more breath in. And then exhale. Release the leg, release the arm, roll back to your belly. Hands come by the ribs, breathe in. Exhale, travel yourself back. Balasana, just for one more breath. Roll yourself up into a tabletop position. Hands come underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Maybe a little shift from side to side feels good here. We're going to head into our main sequence today. But first we're going to start to bring a little bit of a stretch into our calves. We're going to thread maybe the right shin onto the left calf. So it's hugging up towards the knee crease. Right knee turns out wide. Take a big breath in. So you exhale, see if you can start to sink back onto the heel or the shin. And it's that pressure of the hips that is going to knead into the calf. I can already feel it's quite intense. And maybe you just have a play with where that foot lands a little bit further down. You can be really light with the pressure, or you can sit back a little bit more. Try one more breath here. And start to roll yourself back. We're going to thread the right knee all the way to the outside of the left knee. Take the feet wide. This already might feel quite intense, so you can unwind as much as you need. Try travel the feet as wide as they can. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, try to shift the hips back maybe a little bit more, depending on the openness of your hips. We'll just take a few rocks forward and back. So if you're feeling pretty open today, your hips might even travel back. You might even lift yourself up. Think about pulling the left hip back. Let's try 2 more breaths here. So this is our Gomukhasana, our cow face pose variation. I'm going to see this a little bit later on. Come back through center. Bring the left toes towards the back of the mat. Breathe in, tap the right knee towards the right elbow. Step the right foot forward outside the right hand, finding a kneeling lunge position. Okay, you can absolutely stay on the hands. One final option one option I'll provide is to press the right knee out and then lift the inside arch of the right foot. Dropping the hips down, You could stay here. If you've got a block or a pillow or a book or something nearby and you wanted to bring your elbows down towards it, you're more than welcome to. If you are feeling open today, the elbows might touch down towards the ground. You might even try a twist here. So maybe right hand comes towards the thigh and you open yourselves up towards the right. There are so many options. If you're feeling super duper duper open, then maybe the left foot comes up and you can clasp the foot with the right hand. We'll stay here for about 4 more breaths. So make sure wherever you are, you can breathe. Lengthening both the inhales and the exhales, but in particular the exhales if you're feeling quite a bit of tension. One more breath. It's going to help. Try to release and tap into our parasympathetic nervous system, our slowing down, our feelings of being safe. Come back to your hands if you're down on your elbows. We're going to tuck the left toes. Breathe in, sweep the right toes high, 3-legged dog, just here for a moment. As you exhale, curl forward, right knee taps towards the nose, step the right foot in between the hands. Left knee is going to come in till we find ourselves on our sit bones. Now the right foot, it might stay in front of the left shin. You might take it up and over the right thigh to find our Ardha Matsyendrasana. Big breath in. This is a big twist through the spine. As you exhale, left elbow might come in front of the right shin. Maybe the right elbow comes on top of the right, or to the side of the right thigh. Try to take a big breath in, lifting up, feeling length. Exhale, twisting a little bit deeper. Try one more breath here. You might feel this in the shoulders, you might feel this in the spine, maybe the hips. Keep trying to press that right hip bone down. Start to unwind. That right foot, we're going to swing it behind us. Okay, you can stay in a 90-90 position with the right knee a little bit more bent, or bring your hands down, try to tuck onto the right toes, lift the hips up, finding our Kapottanasana, our pigeon pose. Okay, the variation that I want to try with you all today is more of a twisting sensation. So maybe you just start by walking the hands over towards the left slightly, be more on the fingertips. If you've got a block, maybe you bring the right elbow down. And again, try that pressing action to open up towards the left. If you know you're quite open and the elbow can come down without any props, go for it. You could stay here if you wanted to try find that half bind with the left hand. Left hand can come behind the shoulders. So this is a little bit more of an active asana here. But again, we don't want to try hold too much excessive tension. So unwind as much as you need to, or find a variation of this pose where you can find a little bit more comfort. Big breath in. Exhale, can you twist the left shoulder open a bit more? One more breath. Dropping the right hip towards the left foot. Start to unwind, left hand towards the ground, come up onto hands. Tuck right toes, but just enough to lift the right knee to slide yourself back into your child's pose, Balasana. Do what you need to do here. Maybe that's a different asana, just so that you can settle in a bit more. We're going to try that flow one more time. So when you're ready, start to roll yourself up. We're going to try that little calf stretch on the other side. So take the left ankle, the top of the left ankle, maybe the shin. Maybe start towards the knee crease, left knee comes out wide. This already might feel like a bit of a strange position because the knee is externally rotated. The hip is externally rotated. And start to shift yourself forward and back slightly. And whenever we might feel intensity in any of our asanas today, rather than trying to screw ourselves up and trying to force ourselves into it and not breathe, or maybe even shy away from it, can we try slow down? Take a slightly deeper breath. And if your mind allows this asana to be safe, then your body might sink yourself into it. And we can influence that with our breath and just changing our perspective. Come back through center. We're going to cross the left knee over to the right. So left foot comes towards the right side, right foot comes towards the left side. The further away they are, the more challenging this is. Take a big breath in. Exhale, send yourself back, maybe a little bit more. Drawing the right hip back along the way, breathing in. Exhale. Ooh, this is super juicy. So again, just modify as you need. If this is quite a lot, then just unwind and do child's pose, lean back and forward. Okay, make this work for your body rather than trying to fit this in. Take one more breath. Come back through center. Breathe in as you tap the left knee towards the left elbow. Exhale, step the left foot in between or outside the left hand. Maybe walk that right foot back. Okay, you can stay on the hands. You can stay with the left foot down. You could start to open the left knee towards the side, lifting the inner arch of the foot. Maybe you stay here. Maybe the right elbow comes down to a block or towards the ground. You could press the left thigh out with the left hand, or you could just keep it down on the ground. If you are feeling very open and wanted to try find your bind with your foot, you're welcome to here. Are you breathing? One more breath. Letting go of any kind of excess tension on the exhale. Hands come down. Tuck onto the right toes. Breathe in, sweep the left toes high. Three-legged dog. Exhale, roll yourself forward. Left knee towards the nose. Sweep the left foot in between the hands. Right knee scoops through. Lower yourself down onto the ground. Left foot might stay in front of the shin. It might come up and over the thigh. Try keep both of the hip bones down. Breathe in, lift tall. Exhale, your twist of choice. So we're doing a couple of twists within this practice today, and often when we find twists, they ask our hips to find themselves in a different position that we might not be used to. So here we're opening through the sides of the hips, the glute medius, as well as the upper back, mid back. One more breath in. Exhale. Find your way back through center. Unwind the left leg. Bring it behind you again. You can keep the back leg long or tuck onto the toes. Try square the hips as much as we can. Okay, you can absolutely stay here up on your hands. Remember, we've got the option to bring the elbow down towards the ground, finding a bit more of a twist sensation, or to a block. And then right hand might come behind, making this very active. Big breath in. Exhale, twisting towards the right. So often if we feel a lot of sensation here, our left hip is going to want to drop back, and it's with this twist that really kind of force the left hip down to open through the right side of the glute. Two more breaths. Letting go of tension in the face, in the eyebrows, eyelids. Bring the hands back down. Tuck onto the left toes just enough to slide the right knee back. When you're ready, let's walk ourselves up. We're going to find our Gomukhasana. I think we're pretty warm. Okay, but I'll provide options along the way. We'll start with the left foot in front. So you might just be in a Sukhasana. You might be up with the foot on the shin, maybe up on the thigh. Okay, these are great options for you to keep both of the sit bones down. If you're wanting to try your full Gomukhasana, left foot travels over, right foot also travels over, so that the left knee is stacked on top of the right. If you notice that both hip bone or the left hip bone's off, then maybe you take one of the other options. Alternatively, you could sit up onto a block that's going to lift the hips up and take some pressure off the joints. Option with the hands, you can have them just down on the ground or out in front of you. If you wanted to try the arm bind, right arm comes up, left hand comes down. Okay, wherever we are, we're going to try hold this asana for about 5 breaths. So maybe we breathe in, press the head back if you've got the bind. Exhale, finding a hinging motion from the hips. You want to try to find length as long as we can from the back body. And then you might find a slight, subtle curve through the top of the spine. Not too much though. Can you try breathe into any intensity that you might feel? One more breath. When you're ready, starting to unwind. We'll try that all on the other side. So cross the legs over. Again, you might find one of those positions with the foot down on the ground. Maybe the foot comes up and over. Try wiggle the feet out a little bit more, stacking the knees on top of each other. Again, right hip bone wants to be down. Okay, again, hands can be down on the ground. If you wanted the option with the arms, left arm comes up on top this time, right arm might come behind. Now, if you're not quite there yet with the hands, I know I'm not quite as much on this side, you can grab a piece of fabric, hold that. You can also just hold the top arm here. Take a big breath in, press the head back a little bit more, lift tall through the lower spine. Exhale, shifting the weight forward slightly. Maybe even closing down the eyes. Letting the energy be drawn inwards. When you're ready, start to unwind. Release the arms, release the legs. We're going to head down onto our backs for a very short Shavasana. If you wanted to take this seated, just closing down the eyes for a moment to integrate our practice, please feel free to. Rolling the self down, maybe bringing the soles of the feet together, knees out wide, Supta Baddha Konasana. Letting the body be free of any tension. Letting the breath be at ease. And before we finish our practice, maybe you'd like to ask yourself, is there something I would like to say to myself? Is there something that I would like to bring forth into the rest of my day? Maybe that's something that we talked about in this practice that resonated with you. Maybe it's something that has arisen from or been uncovered from moving the body and being in moments of a bit more stillness. Maybe by slowly drawing the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a little bit of a squeeze. Moment to thank you for turning up to this practice. And then if it feels good, just roll up through the spine. Find your way into a seat. We'll close out our practice with one big breath together. Maybe hands through heart center. Let's take a big breath and circle the arms wide. Lift the hands up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, drawing that energy, drawing that intention down towards the heart space, integrating and infusing it into our day, into our practice of yoga off the mat. I thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope your body, your mind, your heart feels better. And I hope you enjoyed the beautiful environment that we have here. And from me to you, namaste. If you liked that video, if you enjoyed the class, then I would love it if you could engage with this video. Maybe share it with a friend who you think would enjoy it, or like or comment. I would love to know how you found it. And if you wanted to check out or support me in any way, check out our Patreon account where we post a couple of longer videos as well. And this is where you might be able to support me more directly so I can continue to create these free videos for you guys. Much love to you.